It was always the Jags.
It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome into Always the Jags, your number one podcast for all things Jacksonville, all things Jaguars, all things Orlando. In honor of the Jaguars moving to Orlando from 2027 to play at Camping World Stadium, where all stadium gets some renovations, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the Orlando Magic and what the heck happened in Game 6. So this is a very special episode because my parents, if anyone knows me personally, my parents, my mother and father, are from Detroit. So the Magic playing the Pistons is kind of like full circle for us. And, you know, my parents come from the era where we still hold a grudge against Larry Bird for what he did to Isaiah Thomas. But here we are, 2026, obviously years and years and years later. And the Magic are playing the Pistons in Orlando. And the Pistons were the number one seed in the NBA, so it's been a very surprising series in that the Magic have put a lot of pressure on the Pistons by beating them at home, losing in Detroit, but then going on a 2-game win streak at home. We went back up to Detroit and we lost, but here in Game 6, we had a chance to close it out. We had a chance to beat them in Game 6, move on to the next round, and knock off the top seed in the NBA. And really kind of, you know, it's the same message that the same kind of idea that the Jaguars have struggled with as well. You know, Orlando Magic is a team that's fairly new, been around since 1989, has had some success, but not a ton of success, not storied, historic success like the Lakers and the Celtics and teams like that. Even compared to other teams like the Nuggets and the Spurs, just don't really get a lot of respect around the league and the NBA, and other NBA fans will tell you that, right? Don't get a lot of respect. Not going to say like the punching bag of the league or like the laughing stock of the league necessarily. Jaguars, I wouldn't even put us in that category, but you know, over time, just have not got a lot of respect. It's just that simple. So we have a chance to kind of reverse that by knocking off the top seed, right? And that's what we start doing. The game is close to the beginning. Then we slowly start to pull away. We hit a barrage of threes. The energy gets on our side. The adrenaline gets on our side. Home crowd gets into it. Play excellent defense. And at one point, I think we outscored the Pistons. I don't know, what was it? 20. It was 20 something to like 7. And we were up by 24 points at halftime. Up by 24 points. Kane was sinking threes. Desmond Bane was sinking threes. And we were just getting layups and rebounds. It's a victory to success. And great defense. I mean, guys were swatting balls out of the Piston players' hands. Didn't allow them. And some of the plays that we had, such great ball movement by the Magic, where it seems like they were really in sync. And then third quarter. And I don't know if a lot of that synchronization if that loss of synchronization came from like switching from rotating guys in and out, you know, because we had some players come off the bench and play for a few series and whatnot. But suddenly we lost it and we couldn't keep up. And we got outscored 24-7. And at one point, the Pistons had clawed all the way back. I mean, the score was like 64-40, something crazy like that. The Pistons clawed all the way back to make it like 64-64. And then we hit 2 threes and a free throw to pull away by 11 points. So it was like 71. I actually think it was 71-50 or 71-60. And I felt like, okay, we got that comfortable lead back again. Maybe we can. But the Pistons had already started clawing back with all that momentum. And they kept pushing and pushing. And next thing we know, we lose by 13 points. We couldn't stop Cunningham to save our lives. Duncan Robinson, we kept letting him hit threes. And again, it could have been substitutions and guys like, I thought Suggs was playing really, really well, especially defensively. But then we got to a point where I don't know. It feels like everybody was kind of trying to do everything instead of letting guys do what they're good at. Like Suggs was playing excellent defensively. He had a lot of hustles towards the ball. He had a couple of steals in there. And then when we go down by 10, he's trying to shoot threes. And he hasn't made one all game. He hasn't even tried to take one all game. And again, like we were in desperation mode. The game was ending. And at one point we missed 24 straight shots. And it felt like as soon as like even when Desmond Bane went up to take a shot, it's like you could tell it was off just from the way he got up there, from the way he leapt off the ground. And we just needed a moment. We needed a dunk or we needed a steal or some kind of moment to get the home crowd back in it and switch the momentum back to our side. Because once we started dropping the ball, literally, and those threes and I was thinking, like, those threes that we sunk, that's not enough. Because, like, those are great, obviously, when you're pulling away, but it's not what you need to get the crowd fired up and get all of your guys fired up. What you need is a steal and a dunk, right? Like, the dunks are what do it, you know? And we had a couple of perfect opportunities to get those, to get one. But I think one guy dropped the ball when he was trying to steal it, and another opportunity, he just wasn't in the right spot, but he was close. So in game 5, Cunningham had 45 points, and our guy, Paolo Banchero, had 45 points as well. Tonight, I don't know if he cracked 20. And again, Desmond Bane was playing really good ball, and especially when he was sinking those twos. Fade away, like he would drive like he was going into the basket, and then jump back and hit a fadeaway two. And that was kind of our bread and butter and allowed us to keep moving back, keep moving, further away from the Pistons when the game was going on. I mean, man, I live in Jacksonville right now, and I drove from Jacksonville all the way to DeLand, Florida. And if anyone knows, DeLand is about 20 minutes south of I-4, like 20 minutes, I guess, west of Daytona Beach. So if you're leaving Daytona Beach and you're on I-4, DeLand is the first city you run into, because that's where my mom lives. And I went there to go watch the game with her, because from Detroit, and it was gonna be awesome. Called my uncle, trash talked a little bit on the way there. Said the number one seed's gonna lose in Game 6. And halftime, I thought about calling him again and being like, "You might as well just move to Florida, like your sister did." And of course, at the end of the game, he called me back and got the last laugh. So now the Magic have to go to Detroit for Game 7. And you might be wondering, how are they supposed to win? And I think a lot of us are wondering the same thing. And again, for a game that everything seemed to be going our way, the only thing I can really point to, and I don't know what the substitutions or maybe the guys that came in haven't played together enough, we were in sync all the way up until half. And if you look at some of the ball movement that we were doing, and when a guy like Kane was coming in and just, I think he had like 4 or 5 three-point shots. And like whether it was driving up to the basket or whatever, we were just in sync. And then whatever substitution was made, we lost it. And then guys were off their spot. Guys couldn't hit shots. Almost like as soon as we switched courts, maybe that was it. Maybe the hoop having we could only hit shots in that hoop, and when we switched, we just couldn't get anything on the other one. I don't know. Maybe that hoop is special because the Pistons were able to score over and over again. I don't know. So now it's now the pressure's on both teams too. I think there's also something to be said about like the pressure itself, because when the Magic came into this game, the pressure's not really on them to win because they have one more shot. But Detroit, the pressure is really on them to win because this is their last chance. And again, depending on the situation, that can help you or hurt you. There's plenty of times where the team who has the most pressure on it crumbles under the pressure, and they end up wilting. Then there are other teams where the team with the least amount of pressure on it is able to just rise up, or sometimes the team with the least amount of pressure, the guys don't feel that sense of urgency, and that reflects in their play. And so, did the Magic lose their sense of urgency in the second half? I don't know. You tell me. because by the time we regained it, it's too late. And that's the thing about effort, adrenaline, and urgency. Like, it's not like, oh, the Pistons have come back by 10 points. Let's kick that urgency back up. Once you allow them to come back in with and score 10 more points, you've already lost the urgency battle, because now the momentum, they're forcing that momentum onto their side, and it's hard for you to get it back. So losing that urgency, you can't ever lose it. And there was a play that Suggs made where he made a great hustle on the ball, and we were up by 24, and me and my mom were both commenting how great it was. He ended up fouling the guy trying to steal it, but we ended up commenting on how great that effort was, despite the fact that we were up by so much, because that's kind of the way that you need to play in order to win. And it just didn't end up going like that for the rest of the game. It just didn't end up going like that. And so, yeah, let me know your thoughts about this game. Do you think the Magic have a chance of going into Detroit and closing out the series the same way we did it? We started it with a victory. I think the experience of being a number one seed is really showing for Detroit. I've been to the playoffs before, but I'm so bored this offseason. Like, I obviously the Magic need more motivation than this, but like, I'm so bored because the Jaguar season is over. I would love to see my Magic in the playoffs. Like, I'd love to have something to watch right now, because usually basketball, I like basketball too. I'm much more of a football guy, but as the season, it's hard for me to get into it during the season because there's just so many games. But the playoffs, game 6, game 7, I can get into it. And a couple of my friends went down to Orlando to watch the game, and I even would have went to watch especially for the Pistons versus the Magic. I should have tried to go earlier, but I didn't make enough plans. So I'm like, yeah, to all the Magic players, to the Magic fan base from Jacksonville, because for most Jacksonville, I guess guys, most Jacksonville fans, most Jaguars fans, the Orlando Magic is our next team, right? Like, we don't have any allegiance to the the Orlando Magic are our team in basketball, right? Like, it's not the Hawks, it's not the Heat. Miami's already got everything. We're not Dolphins fans, right? It's not. It's Magic, right? Like, the fan base stretches. That's the nice thing about Orlando too, because like Miami obviously has all of South Miami. Maybe like Tampa South is probably all kind of Miami Heat territory, but Orlando Magic have everything up all the way to maybe even parts of Atlanta. Where until you start getting to Georgia, maybe you're in Hawks country, but Panama City, Pensacola, well, that's Orlando Magic. So, to the Magic from the Jaguars fans, give us something to watch this offseason. Give us a nice playoff run that we can show up for. It's only a 2-hour drive. It's not that bad. And I heard the traffic wasn't that terrible either. So give us something, because we could really use it. We could really use it while we reflect on this season and the draft. Last year's draft was way more exciting because we got Travis Hunter. This year's draft, there's not really much to be excited about until we get onto the field and see these guys play. So in the meantime, begging you, Florida fan to another Florida team, Orlando Magic, give us something to be excited about and give us something to watch. And we will repay the favor to you when the season starts. Thank you for watching Always the Jags. I know this was a little bit of a change up in the episode. But make sure you like and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts down below. Can the Magic close this series out? And can we knock off the Detroit Pistons? But never forget, it was always the Magic. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on any videos about the Jaguars from my channel. Check out some of these other videos that I'm sure you'll be interested in. And again, never forget, it was always the Jags.